Just finished my freshman year of college. Loved playing sports, loved chasing after girls, and a wave picked me up, threw me over my boogie board, and slammed me headfirst against the ocean floor. I heard a loud crack and was motionless from the shoulders down and was face down in the water. I even went through my mind of, this might be it, but I didn't. The only person that's gonna stop me is me.
You just said you're grateful for the injury that made you a quadriplegic.
Having a spinal cord injury, it sucks, but life is beautiful. My spinal cord injury changed everything. It didn't change me.
Well, good morning, Josh. Well, for us it's good morning, but good afternoon for you on your side. How's the weather down there? And where are you from?
I'm from Washington, D.C. area, and it is cold, and it is great to be here with you today.
I know, being a quadriplegic, I know you're a quadriplegic. The weather for me, the cold is I'm not a favor of it. All the time it's so chilly.
Not at all. I'm always bundled up, and when I do get in bed, I literally wrap the bed sheet around my head, and I look. I just all you really see is my nose and my mouth at nighttime.
I know. I think for other people, like when I get off my car and there's a snow, and Vancouver is not really a snow city for us, even though we are in Canada. We more feel like we should have a weather of more San Diego style. But yes, being after my accident, weather cold is not my choice.
Warm weather is ideal.
We read about you, and definitely my audience would like to know who are you and what's your mission.
Absolutely. All right, so a little bit about me. So 20 years ago, I was 18 years old, just finished my freshman year of college. I loved playing all sports, especially tennis, and finished my freshman year and was off on an annual family vacation during the summer to the beach. And I was in waist high water, turned my back to the ocean, and a wave picked me up and threw me over my boogie board and slammed me headfirst against the ocean floor. I heard a loud crack and was motionless from the shoulders down and was face down in the water. Luckily, my friends saw me floating. They pulled me to shore, and that kind of was the start to my new life in the spinal cord injury world. And I was on a ventilator for the first 4 weeks, and when I kind of was weaned off that, I really found my voice and became an advocate for life from that moment on. And about 10 months after my injury, after having so many incredible mentors luckily come into my world, I said I was at a point in my life that I was like, you know what, I really want to find a way to give back to others. And that's when I started, with the help of friends and family, we started the Determined to Heal Foundation. And the goal was to simplify the transition into life for newly injured families through information and mentors. And so over time, it's expanded to bringing families to live with adventurous wheels. We have an adventures program with sports and activities. We brought 10 families adaptive skiing last weekend. And every summer we do a huge adventurous weekend at a local beach with 40 to 50 families. And then we do a ton around benefits navigation so that you can have access to government supports and caregiving, and do a lot around getting people with disabilities employed. That's been a real big mission of ours. And in 2024, we mentored over 400 families one-on-one to help them along their employment journey. I guess one other thing to share about me is while I was, after my injury, I did return back to school. I ended up graduating from the University of Maryland with an undergrad, and then graduated magna cum laude from law school. And now I'm a practicing attorney.
Wow, it's absolutely incredible. I know it's sometimes easier for people in positions like yourself and my brother to share that story almost in a single breath. but to take a moment to pause, you know, an 18-year-old boy who is on family vacation at the beach, so they're living an active life. Maybe briefly tell us a little bit about that experience, what your life was like before, what happened at the time of the accident, quickly after the accident, and then maybe tell us, do you think that the wheelchair holds you back or has it emboldened you?
So yeah, before my injury, I just loved smiling, loved learning, loved chasing after girls, loved playing sports. Just I loved life. It was a really good life, and I just wanted to always try to experience something new and to learn what the world had to offer. And I know as an 18-year-old of just having 1 year of college under my belt, I was really finding myself too through independence. And before then, I was just always within the walls of my home and things of that nature, and adults telling you what to do, and then all of a sudden you finally find some freedom and finding who you are, what you're going to be, and having that change at 18. My injury kind of took away my physical abilities and made me extremely independent or extremely dependent on others and extremely dependent on technology. But I quickly learned during the early days of my injury that through caregivers, through families, through helping hands, and through technology, I could find independence because mentally, my mind could control what I did next, what I chose to do next, or what I chose to think. So that was a big moment early on, and I think I really came to that mentality because of the mentors that came into my world early on that gave me hope first, and then they gave me the ability to recognize that life can go on in beautiful ways. Like there was a guy 10 years prior to my injury that got injured on the same exact beach as me and lived locally. And he returned to school. He went to community college, went to undergrad, graduated from law school, ended up passing the bar, fell in love, got married, and had kids. And I was like, if Tim can do it, I can do it as well. So I started following in his wheel tracks. So it's one of those things of being able to recognize that really anything is possible. It's going to be different. Before my injury, I did things 1 million ways, and now I get to do it 1 million new and different ways. And new and different can still be fun and meaningful. And I did learn very much so that the only person that's going to stop me is me. And that gave me power. It kind of gave me a superpower in knowing myself and knowing that I get to decide what I get to do next and what my future is going to hold. And it really taught me to become my own best advocate because no one's going to fight harder for me in my lifetime than I'm going to fight for myself. Yes, there's going to be friends and family that are going to go to bat for you and have you there. But with time, life changes. People get married. People have kids. Family members pass away. Caregivers find new jobs or pass away. Like life goes on, but for you, I know for myself, I'm going to be here to the end of my days. So I got to learn to become my own best advocate.
So with the mentor, did you get married or did you got kids or no? Did
So
you?
I did fall in love. I did propose, and I was able to have a beautiful 7-year-old stepdaughter. And this month, my biological son is going to turn 3 years old. So I did
Wow.
become a daddy, and yeah, I've got the two greatest kids. I am not married at this moment because if I were to get married in the state of Maryland, there are, as of last year, I ended up changing the law to allow somebody. Previously, if I were to get married, I would immediately lose all my caregiving. So first I had to change that law, but then there was a provision that they have a marriage penalty, which would tax my partner's income. and we're working to get the state to remove that as well before we officially get married. But it's so important to find the right partner in life, and it can be game changing.
Yeah, definitely, I can say that. And just like good question for you. Like you always there's so many non-profit organizations on spinal cord injury in the United States. Asia, Christopher Lee have itself has it. United States, Spinal Cord Injury Association, and a lot of others. Why do you want to open Spinalpedia? Do you get a lot of tax break, or why do you want to do it?
So Determined to Heal is the nonprofit organization, and Spinalpedia is kind of a child organization that's funded completely through Determined to Heal. More or less, being able to do your own nonprofit allows you to have, I'd say, maybe a little bit more of a say and direction on what your contribution would particularly be. I don't recommend it for everyone because whenever you run a nonprofit, there's always the crazy amount of administrative burden that it takes to keep it operational, having to fundraise. Like, I hate fundraising. Like, it's no fun. But it's part of running an operation and providing free services for families across the country. I am a board member for the last 9 years of the United Spinal Association, and very proud of the work that we do. But there's each nonprofit within the spinal cord injury world kind of does its own unique thing. Some of them do similar things, and those that do, I also like that because it creates competition of sorts, and it makes each organization try to be the better organization to get those donors and to do certain things. But at the same time, I do wish we could all unite together under one banner with unlimited funding. I know I'm creating a dream world, but with that being said, if a more united front across the country within disability and spinal cord injury allows us to advocate a lot louder because we get more wheels on the ground and more focus to be able to direct advocacy to create real change.
So, having so much exposure to different organizations in the space, including running your own, what do you think are the most significant barriers that are still remaining to be resolved for people with disabilities? And if you feel that you're better off answering the one for people with, physical disabilities, then go ahead with that. But if you have some light on just in general disabilities, so what are the most significant barriers in your mind?
It all comes down to the type of disability, because every ability and disability creates its own unique barriers for that world. Whether you have a cognitive disability to a physical disability to a mental disability, each one of those kind of has its own unique needs. And specifically for, let's say, quadriplegia or wheelchair users, having access to healthcare and especially long-term care through caregiving and helpful hands at a higher level of injury, like a cervical injury, I can't survive without help. I can't brush my teeth. I can't feed myself. I can't get in and out of bed. I need to have helpful hands to live and to survive. So I think that is probably the biggest component and the underfunding of that. Like the average quadriplegic at my level of injury, paralyzed below the shoulders in the United States, if you go state by state by state, they're probably getting anywhere from 4 to 6 hours of care per day on average, which is very tough. It's like 2 to 3 hours in the morning, 2 to 3 hours in the evening, and in between you can be on your own, or it can be a very, very scary and isolating world. And too often it pushes people into nursing homes so they can be able to have supports, on the ground 24/7. There's other major barriers of transportation. There's major barriers right now within the employment world. Too few people with disabilities are employed with gainful employment, and that just makes it that much more difficult because we are so expensive to be able to have, you know, the more dollars we can invest into our quality of life, the better. So I've been really on a mission to transform access to care and navigating government programs, especially in the States, and accessing employment across the world and how that can be done, how it can be done in person, how it can be done remotely, how it can be done that we all have our own unique set of skills. It's just a matter of finding the right environment to apply that to, or going to get the training and education needed to take your skills to that next level.
You know what? Being in Canada, we just got a couple of years back. We just got a Accessibility Act, Canadian Accessibility Act, implemented into in our country. But yes, we have challenges here and there on it. But the United States has ADA for a long time because of being the veterans and everybody. And we look at ADA as more like a mark style, so we can understand what are the benefits they have it. How does the ADA has helped, or you're helping, for regarding the human resources for the people with disability? Because without the work, there is no money, and no money, there's nothing we can do about it.
So can you say it one more time? So can you repeat the question?
So how we have Canadian Accessibility Act on it, which is just implemented a couple of years back, but ADA has been there, American Disability Act has been there in America for a long time. I don't remember the years on it, but I definitely,
1990.
yes, it's been a very long. But how does that act has taken over or help you or Spinalpedia to create the human resources much more better for people with disability?
So much of what the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, did was it broke down barriers to accessing the world around us, whether it is through transportation, through access to buildings, to access to the courts, to access to the internet. Like there's being able to have access and inclusion within that world. The ADA basically laid down the groundwork to say that people without disabilities or businesses and government cannot discriminate against people with disabilities and block them from having the same and equal access as everyone else. So it really did pave the way to create a more even playing field, or at least access to the world around us. It is transformative, and it is a law that is still in effect to the point where, if it gives us muster to be able to enforce things as well on society and businesses and government to do better and to continue to strive to do better, knowing that if they don't, actions can be brought against them. So that's key. It holds accountability around access and inclusion.
And, on that note, I don't want it to sound like there's only problems for people with disabilities. They're just like climate change, where a lot of people see doom and gloom. There are a lot of people going after the opportunities that exist in that space, whether it's green tech or carbon capture or all of those. What, in your opinion, are the opportunities available for entrepreneurs in the space with disabilities, whether it's improving accessibility to places and or employment or personal income sources?
The sky's the limit. It's being able to know what your skill sets are, what your interests are, and what you want to do to either contribute to another business's platform or for you to create your own. There's so many different ways of providing service and making money, and it's just a matter of kind of knowing what interests you or what field you want to get to be the best at or contribute. Like there's so many opportunities out there. It becomes scary to the point where when when those jobs or that extra income can negatively impact your benefits. But being able to support families to know that there are different options and different paths forward on how to play the game of sorts through navigating benefits with employment. That's what I've been trying to do my best to educate people on. In the States, particularly, there's all these special programs called like the 1619B program. If you are on SSI, which is Social Security income, or if you need access to Medicaid, there's things called Medicaid buy-in programs for workers with disabilities. So there's all these cool programs that allow you to have higher income and asset limits than you would have otherwise had. But it's really about figuring out what you're going to be good at, where somebody's willing to pay money for your services, and being able to get into a field where it's right for you. So some people want to get out of their home and work in the workplace. That opens the door to many, many types of jobs. Others want to work remotely, and that creates another set of jobs. But then there's the hybrid one that's in between where you do a little of both. But it's unfortunately, it's not always what you know, but who you know. So it's also the components of networking and knowing your friends and family, or knowing community on how to find out what opportunities are there, and for you to be willing to put yourself out there to try to apply for it. It can be very discouraging in the job market because a lot of times people with disabilities, or they have a spinal cord injury, they end up taken out of the market for a while, and that just kind of creates a stay of time where there's nothing on their resume, and it's one of those things to get back into it. It's definitely going to look differently, but we got to find different ways of owning our story, telling our story, and contributing to the world around us.
Josh, I'm a quadriplegic and I'm C7 complete. I encounter so many different experiences, I would say good or bad, that's the perception to look at, as on a wheelchair as a quadriplegic. What are the funny moments or exciting moments you ever experienced as a wheelchair user?
I've been able to live with pretty adventurous wheels. One time I ended up chartering this boat that I learned it was built by a paraplegic to sail the oceans, and I ended up contacting the owner of the boat and asked I would love to charter it from the tip of Florida, Key West, and to sail down to Cuba and introduce a sport I invented called slingshot golf to some Cuban individuals with spinal cord injuries. Next thing I know, we had it. The foundation, we brought two other families that were paralyzed, and we sailed down, spent 5 nights in Cuba, and sailed back home. That was pretty wild. I once was driving down a road and I saw an advertisement for hang gliding, which they had a hang glider where you would lay on your stomach on a kind of like a little hammock with harnesses on it, and this little hang glider would be pulled up by a steel cable by an airplane and released about a mile up in the sky. And I ended up doing that, which was completely, I felt like I was flying like a bird. There was an instructor, obviously, in the hang glider as well that was gliding it to safety, but that was pretty wild. And I could definitely tell you a lot of other stories. It's life can go on in beautiful ways. You just, with helpful hands and the willingness to try, you can get outside your comfort zone and experience the world around you. I've been doing a lot less crazy adventures of late just because now that I'm a dad, I feel like I've been hunkering down. But last weekend I ended up doing adaptive skiing, which is a ski sled that I'm put into, and somebody behind me kind of drives me all across the mountain. And I don't have the use of my arms to really be able to guide myself, but I go for a ride, and I was able to be on the mountain with my 7-year-old daughter next to me and my 3-year-old son, who it was his first time ever skiing. and that was a memory that I get to now have for the rest of my life.
I did. We have a sailing down in Vancouver, on Jericho. We at a spinal cord injury. We see I'm a mentor with them, and we do adaptive sailing. So in summertime, there's actually adapted sailing boats. They have built it for people who are on wheelchairs. So you transfer, and it's run by a non-profit, Jericho Sailing Beach. So you get transfer in it, and you can roll around in the downtown for an hour, and there's an instructor with you, or you can go somewhere. So it's being on a wheelchair. I found it so much. I tease my brothers and everybody. I can go to the movie for free. I can do those things, a lot of things which are beneficial to me now, being on a wheelchair. Before on an action, and I couldn't do it. So it's just fun, and being me as a dad, I have a daughter. She's in a university, going to be a lawyer. She's studying, and I have a son, he's a 12-year-old. He's studying right now, so they're learning how their father is doing things and everything. And another motivation thing I found out: there's nothing worse can do now than what we are already. So I don't have any fear anymore left in it. That's the one thing I found that the fear goes away.
Well, there's so many different adventures, activities, sports programs that exist in the world. The key is to find out where they are located and being able to sign up and to figure out what you like to do and also find out what you don't like to do. I'm a big believer in trying different things to know, is this going to be right for me, and is this going to be something I can bring to my life for the rest of my life? But you don't know until you try.
So we have a lot of younger people in the audience as well, Josh, and also with the hat of a caregiver slash sibling slash, I see what you guys, and especially my brother, accomplish as an inspiration. I have a built-in story that I can reference when things go tough for me. I can tell myself that I can put myself to bed at night. I can wake up in the morning on my own. I'm not dependent in the myriad ways that you guys are. But I know that obviously you guys have gone through a lot of personal development journeys. If you could go back and give advice to your 18-year-old, what advice would you give them? What would you recommend? Books or podcasts now maybe, but things that we can just give to others who may or may not be disabled, but maybe at a younger age are looking to us or to you guys for inspiration.
I would go back and share with my 18-year-old self the superpower of perspective. If you can focus on what you can do and what you can't control, you get to move forward in a beautiful way that allows you to mentally tackle just about anything. But if you always focus on what you can't do and what you can't control, it can pull you down and it can pull you into pretty dark spaces. So finding ways to focus on what you can control and what you can do, it gives you the ability to actually do what you need to do next without kind of being either frustrated or sad or and having feelings is okay. Having all those feelings is okay. But being able to really truly focus on what you can do and can't control it gets you into a better mental space to move forward and to accomplish your goals and dreams. And I would also tell myself the importance of advocacy and never stop advocating and learning for yourself. So those things, I probably would not be at the level that I am today without my spinal cord injury of knowing about perspective and knowing about advocacy. So if I could flip a switch and not be paralyzed and have these kind of superpowers of sort that my injury gave me, I would absolutely love that. But I am grateful for the injury of what it gave me within that, and it's allowed me to appreciate the little things a lot more, and the little moments, and every single thing that I still do have. You know, physically I'm limited, but I have my hearing, I have my sight, I have touch from the chest up. I have my taste. I have my mind. I have my memories. I get to experience it with those that I love each and every day, and I get to wake up with purpose within a career. It's just life is definitely different, but it's I'm still living and I'm loving and laughing.
Wow, that was powerful. I mean, you just said you're grateful for the injury that made you a quadriplegic, that gave you your disability. I know my brother has said something similar, you know, with about his accident, and that amazes me because I observe from a close proximity what life is for people. You know, the other day, my brother dropped his phone in the car and he couldn't pick it up. He had to ask someone for help. He had to call using Siri. It's just the simplest of the things are so difficult from our perspective for people living with disabilities. And for you to come out and say that you're grateful amazes me. And I think more stories like those need to come out for people without disabilities to listen to and learn from and see as inspiration, especially in a time like today where there's so much hedonic adaptation that people are wanting more and more things to be happy about, and there's a pandemic of mental health. So that blows me away. I know Amit, you have your version of that story as well.
Gratitude is an attitude, in my opinion, but there's no sugarcoating it. Having a spinal cord injury, it sucks. Like nobody wants to be paralyzed. Like it's tough. It is hard, and it is challenging. But at the same time, life is beautiful. We have this short time on this earth to be able to live and experience and to have it with a family and friends and to share moments and memories and to make impact. So it's just my spinal cord injury, it changed everything. It flipped my world upside down, but it didn't change me. I'm still me. I just have a new body of sorts and ways of tackling life and experiencing life. And that's I am super grateful for that I get to go on because being paralyzed in the ocean, I was face down in the water until I blacked out. Like I was totally conscious, face down in the water, unable to turn. And during those moments, like I even went through my mind of this might be it, but I'm grateful for the life that I lived to this point. And I just tried to be as zen-like as I possibly could be to conserve my breath and my energy that I still had within my lungs and circulating through my body. And I easily could have been pulled, into the ocean and drowned that day, but I didn't, and I am extremely grateful for that.
No, definitely. I think so. My life has changed since I had an accident. It was devastated. Definitely, I can say. I think so. I felt it much more better that I'm being in a wheelchair. Consider it this way. The World Health Organization considered spinal cord injury is the second worst illness in the world because for every little things, completely get changed up. I was just joking to my brother, in the morning, how I always feel cold because our thermostat in our body get messed up. And I met people who are young or adults, older, they feel, after their injury, they feel hotter. And I feel always cold, joke apart. But the spinal cord injury has given me a new life to look at in a way how the things are completely different in a different eyes, how we can change the world, how we can amend the world, how we can abandon the things in this world for us. Being living in Canada is there's no other better place for me to be in a wheelchair than this country. This country has done amazing work for me. We have amazing care. We have amazing. Yes, I can say there's always a lemons in the world for you, but I always say like if you can squeeze a lemon, you can always make a lemonade out of it, and that's what I like it. Lemonade is the best thing to taste. It's yummy.
Lemonade is delicious.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
You can and make it in any way you want it like it. If you get a chance to become a leader of the country, well, now you have a new leader, which is a great one. So if you get a chance to become the leader of that country, what are the things you're going to change? The first thing you want to change?
I like that question because you have a new leader and you are in Washington, D.C. And that's more relevant. This could happen. This could be a real story.
I would want to listen more. I'd want to be able to protect people's ability to be safe, to be healthy, to be able to make decisions that don't force people to put themselves in harmful places. I would want to be able to create an environment where success can be achieved by as many people as possible. I think it's just right now we're way too divided as a country and as a world, and it's becoming a scary place right now to not know how we're going to do and how we're going to get through this. I wish we could be more united and realize that we, especially in the States, that we all are Americans and we all need to have each other's back during the good times and bad. And we do have way more in common than we are different. And to find those commonalities and to find that American spirit of sort, and the American dream of sort, to be able to unite together for a better future. We can do it better if we work together rather than against each other. And I know you can't ever have everybody agree on everything. And half the times of being a politician, it's like you're choosing kind of the 51% or greater, which then makes 49% of the people mad at you. So it's tough being a politician. I would never want to be a politician. When I was in law school, I ended up working for the HELP committee, the Health, Education, Labor, and Pension Committee, and worked for Senator Tom Harkin, who was the original champion of the ADA in 1990. It was amazing to see how you could work so hard to get a bill pushed through, and then all of a sudden, just one person wanted to kill it, and it was gone. And it wasn't even because they believed in it. It's just because they wanted to push power or had one interest group that gave them money to tell them to please stop this thing. And I'd rather try to do good on the ground rather than through the halls of Congress and Capitol Hill.
Yeah, people
That to be said, I will always advocate there. It's just I wouldn't want to do it for a career.
Yeah. I think people with disabilities are very empathetic, whether it's naturally or, whether it's despite of or because of their disability. And I really do believe that someone with, whether it's a physical or invisible disability, would be an amazing world leader because they will bring their empathetic hat on of, especially if they've kind of experienced it midlife, like the two of you. But I do think that even people without, even if they're born with it, they understand that the world operates differently and that they have to accommodate to live in there. And that, so I think it's a very valid question. And I think it could be an amazing experience for the world. We live in Vancouver, where we had a mayor who was in a wheelchair. We recently had a guest who has been a minister of family for minister for British Columbia, who's also in a wheelchair. So there are a significant number of highly accomplished politicians with disabilities.
I would love to see more. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about that. The second that you have more abilities and disabilities and different perspectives within politics and Congress, or however you want to put it, within the political landscape, having different perspectives lets there to be different viewpoints, different voices to have a seat at the table. If everybody looks the same and sounds the same, you're not going to have much change for the broadest group of people across the country.
Let's say for 1 minute, you get a chance not to be the leader of the country as you choose not to be the politician, but if you choose to become an animal, which animal you want to become?
And why?
Yeah, I'd probably love to become an eagle. I think it'd just be fun to fly and soar and just to be free and independent up in the air. I think that'd be beautiful.
And I like that answer because it evens the playing field for someone with or without a spinal cord injury. I can't fly either.
And
It'd,
isn't
it'd
it,
be it'd be fun new abilities.
Yeah.
which eagle do you want to be? Because I think the United States have their national bird itself is an eagle too.
Yeah, the bald eagle is a pretty badass bird. And but just truly just to be able to be an animal that provides you that freedom, but also the bond with family. Like I just can't imagine life without family and friends.
You have lived an absolutely amazing, accomplished life. I dare say, despite, but really because of having experienced what you experienced at the age of 18, your positive mental attitude, your accomplishments in both work and in your advocacy are commendable. And coming from someone who's not disabled, I'm amazed. I'm in admiration. I really think that people like you make the world a better place for everybody, not just for people with disabilities, but even people without. So thank you for all the work you do. I speak for both myself and my brother. We were really looking forward to this conversation, and I'm glad that we were looking forward to it because it really has delivered. You've given such good nuggets for our audience here. Is there anything else that you would like to add at the end?
First, thank you for inviting me to be on the program. It's just anytime we have an opportunity to share perspectives together, to talk about life and moving forward, it's an opportunity to meet new people, make new friendships, and to learn new things. For the rest of my life, I will always be a mentor and a mentee because I've always more to give and I have always more to learn. And with both of those combined together, you can be a part of the world and you can give to the world, and it's just you can have some fun while you do it.
No, thank you so much, Josh. And now we have a new friend in Washington, D.C., so we can, beside our leaders, cannot figure out how they're going to do the situation right now fix, but at least we can fix together our things between the Canada and United States. And, we are looking forward to come and join us in Vancouver. The summertime is amazing in Vancouver. You're just going to love the city. It's just beautiful, just amazing.
Find a way to get me out there,
Yes.
and I'd love to be there.
No, it will be great.
We'd love
Thank
to
you
have
so
on
much.
yeah, we'd love to have you in person as a guest. That would be great too. Yeah.
Good times.
Thanks, Josh. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. Thanks for having me
Bye-bye.
on.